What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry I haven't posted in a while. I'm recovering from a broken wrist, which I got in my baseball game last weekend. But I'm here to talk about the Sixers and their Game 1 loss to the New York Knicks. Now, this game was not pleasant by any means. Joel Embiid goes down with an injury. The bench guys just don't show up. They can't rebound. They got out-rebounded by 25 today, and there was just not a lot of hustle on this team. And so I got a lot of talking points in this game. A lot of talking points that I want to talk about in this rundown. So the first one is that the Sixers can't rebound. If they want to win games, they need to learn to rebound because it's been like this for too long. We've seen it far too much. The Sixers just let boards go over their head. The Knicks out-rebounded them by 25. I've never seen anything like this. The Knicks had 66, Sixers had 41. It just can't happen if you want to win a game. And like I said, it's been like this for years. These teams in the past have fallen in the playoffs just because they can't rebound, and there's not a lot of hustle. There's a lack of urgency on this team. They just don't run to the ball. After the shot goes up, there's a lot of just standing there and looking. When you're standing there and looking, there's not going to be a lot of rebounds. And the Knicks, they were rebounding, and that's why they were ahead in this game. That's why they held a lead a lot of this game. And they were able to get second chance points and third chance points. Getting rebounds lead to more points, and the Sixers just don't know how to do that. The bench guys need to step up. I don't know what it was today, but the bench guys scored 7 total points. Maxey, Embiid, and Lowry kind of carried this team this whole game. Kelly Oubre and Tobias Harris didn't do much in this game either. Now, I'll talk about Tobias Harris later, but he's been terrible. Kelly Oubre, he's been falling off a little bit in the playing game that we just played, and now in game 1. I don't know what's going on, but Kelly Oubre needs to step it up and be like he was during the regular season, because he was very solid during the regular season, so we want that version of Kelly Oubre. But Maxey, Embiid, Lowry, you can't ask for anything more. Maxey was driving in the paint like crazy today. Now I'm going to look at his shooting real quick, because I don't think Tyrese Maxey shot amazing from 3. Yeah, he only shot 3 for 9. Now I want him to shoot better from three-point range, but his driving was insane today. He was overall 14 for 26 in field goal attempts. Now, that's insane. Over 50%. And all of his drives were like acrobatic plays. You don't see this from any other normal basketball player, but you see it from Tyrese Maxey, and it's kind of normal now because he's just so good at doing this kind of stuff. Now, Embiid, we had an injury scare, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. But he played really well. So he was 8 for 22. He was 2 for 8 from 3, which I didn't love to see him shooting that many threes just because he wasn't making them down the stretch, and he was starting to tail off and start missing in the fourth quarter. But he overall played really good. Shot 11 for 12 from free throw range, and yeah, he had an overall solid game. 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. That's what you want to see from Joel Embiid. And if he didn't have that injury scare, he probably would have had more than that. Now, I also want to talk about Kyle Lowry, because Kyle Lowry had a great game. He had 18 points, also with 2 assists and 4 rebounds, but he was just making shots. He was making shots. He got the Sixers back into the game when they were down by 14. Yes, they were up by 14 or 12 or 14 early in the game, and then they blew the lead and went down by 14. But Kyle Lowry helped them get back and to get another lead going into the fourth quarter, which they ultimately gave up. But he was a big part in that comeback, and I like that he led the charge, and he was kind of taking some of the pressure off Joel Embiid, and he was making his shots. He was giving Maxey more looks. I really liked Kyle Lowry and his game today, but it was really only those 3 Sixers that really did much. The rest of them are really bad. Kelly Oubre, 3 for 7. That's respectable, but nothing too crazy. He had 10 points. Tobias Harris, the same thing, 3 for 7. He only had 7 points, but I do want to focus on Tobias Harris a little bit. He had 9 rebounds, which that was the only thing great he really did in this game. He did do good with covering the glass. He got some boards when you needed them, but the team as a whole wasn't rebounding. But he was able to step up and get those rebounds. But other than that, Tobias Harris looks lost. I don't know what he's doing. He's failed to score double digits again. He has 7 points. It's not that he's not getting the ball enough. It's that he doesn't know what to do with the ball. When he shoots and misses, he misses badly. So I don't know what's going wrong in his head. It's the worst I've ever seen Tobias Harris play these last couple months, honestly. He's just looked terrible, and it's what I expect out of him now. I expect him to play bad. He gets booed everywhere he goes. He gets booed at home. I really don't like seeing Tobias Harris play. He doesn't fit with this Sixers scheme. and it's going to hurt them down the stretch if they keep playing him and he keeps playing minutes. But Nick Nurse has even not been playing him as much. He's only played 31 minutes in this game, and the rest of the Joel Embiid played 36. He was the next lowest starter, and that's because he was injured. So Tobias Harris, I don't want to see him get that many playoff minutes. It does not fit with the Sixers scheme, and he's going to hurt the team. He hurts the team around him. When he had a net rating of 0 in this game, the plus minus. Every other starter besides Tyrese Maxey had a positive, and Tyrese Maxey, that's just because he played almost the whole game, and you couldn't fault him. He was excellent in this game, 33 points. But Tobias Harris, he had plus minus a 0, and a lot of the pluses weren't because of him. The rest of the team was doing stuff around him. He was very bad in this game, and I really just did not like his performance overall. Now, Joel Embiid's injury, it was a scare. I was actually scared for a minute. It didn't look good. It really didn't look good for Joel Embiid and the Sixers, and it didn't look good for the rest of the season, because if he was hurt, we're done in this series. We'll be done in 4 games if he is hurt. But he was able to come back in the second half and helped lead the charge with Kyle Lowry and Tyrese Maxey to get back in this game. Now, he has to limit himself. The play he got injured on when he was dunking over, I forget who he was dunking over. I think it might have been Anunoby. Yeah, he was doing it on Mitchell Robinson, and then Anunoby was there, but he can't do that. Or it might have been Miles McBride. Now, Miles McBride, I do want to talk about him for a minute, because he's not going to score 20 every game. He's not going to shoot like that, 5 for 7 from three-point range. He's not going to do that every game. Josh Hart, he's not going to go 4 for 8 from 3 every time. What he did in the fourth quarter, that's not going to happen every time. So there are things that the Knicks did that the Knicks aren't going to do. They are a really good team. The Knicks are a great team, but they are not. They kind of showed out a little bit in some certain aspects. Now, Jalen Brunson, he didn't do that great. He was 1 for 6 from 3. He was 8 for 26 from the field. He struggled, and he's not going to struggle the rest of this series, or at least that's what's expected. So the Sixers got lucky in some aspects, but they also got really unlucky in other aspects. So it's interesting to see that in game 2. But I want to go back to Joel Embiid. He has to limit himself when he's doing these plays. Now, it's just the first dunk he attempted since he got back from his injury, and it didn't end up well. He was on the floor, he was taken out of the game, and taken out for the rest of the half, and he was limping the rest of the game. I don't want to see him doing stuff like that. He can be a force without doing crazy, throw it off the backboard dunks. He doesn't need to do all that. And I feel like him getting injured there made him off in the second half. He didn't look that great in the fourth quarter. He still put up point. He still obviously did what Joel Embiid does, but his shots looked off. Not his driving and all that. His shots look off. You know, when he goes, he does his little back step fader in the mid-range, he almost always makes that. But he was missing a lot. You might see him miss 1 or 2 here and there, but he was missing almost all of his jump shots from the mid-range, and then he wasn't making any threes anymore. So he looked a little off. I hope he's able to rest and get ready for game 2, because we need him to hit those shots if we want to stay in games. Now, in terms of the Sixers team as a whole, he needs to be on the floor for us to have any chance of winning. If he's not on the floor, we're going to lose, because if you look, his plus minus was 14, I believe. Yeah, it was 14. Everyone else on the Sixers was either single digits or negative. So Joel Embiid is the force of this team. When he's on the floor, we're going to be in the lead. We're going to win games. But if he's not on the floor, Sixers aren't looking too good. Now, going into game 2, the Sixers have to win. They cannot fall down 2-0 going back to Philly. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. You got 2 games at home to try to get back to 2-2, but you have to win both of those games to even be tied up in the series. So you have to win game 2 on Monday night. It just has to happen. You can't go into game 3 down 2-0. It's just too hard. Not a lot of teams who go down 2-0 come back and end up winning the series. So I just don't want to see them fall in this game. Now, will they actually rebound in this game? I don't know, because they haven't rebounded for the last few years. They never want to do it. There's a lack of urgency on this team when it comes to rebounding. They make shots and they look at the ball. When the Knicks shoot the ball, they won't box out. When other teams shoot the ball, the Sixers don't. I don't think boxing out is in the scheme for the Sixers. Like, I think they might be allergic to boxing out. I don't know what it is, but I never see them box out. Now, will the bench step up and make a difference? I want to talk a little bit about the bench before I close this video. Nico Batum, he was off in this game. He only shot 1 for 4. He was missing a couple wide open looks, so you don't want to see that from Nico. But he healed. He didn't really provide much, 0 points in this game. And then Paul Reed didn't look great. He had 4 points, but that was it. 4 points from Paul Reed, and then Nico Batum at 3, and that was it. Campaign played like 2 minutes, but not too much there. But the bench cannot score 7 points and expect the Sixers to win. It just can't happen. The starters cannot be the full force of the offense. They cannot be all of our points. And it wasn't even all of the starters. Kelly Oubre and Tobias Harris, they were not performing on the level of Lowry, Embiid, and Maxey were. You can't rely on those 3 every game to be the main source of your points. You have to provide some reinforcement there. The bench has to be better. Now, while I close this video, Embiid, is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to stay healthy for the remainder of the series and the remainder of the playoffs? I really hope he does. I really hope he limits himself. I really hope he just is careful with what he does, because we need him in this series. We need him for the rest of the playoffs. If Embiid's not on the floor, we don't have a shot. We really don't have a shot. We're going to lose this series if Embiid gets hurt. So that's really all I have in this Game 1 rundown. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with all things Philly sports. I'll be right back after Game 2 of this series against the Knicks. Hopefully we pull off a dub and tie this series up 1-1. Catch you guys in the next one. See ya.